Here's an absolute classic from James Taylor. It's the song apparently that prompted Carole King to write You've Got a Friend, and I've done a video on James Taylor's version of that song. Take a look at that. This song is very simple. There's a fiddly little intro, then there's an 8-bar verse which is 4 bars repeated, and then there's an 8-bar chorus with an extra bar deviously tacked on to make a 9-bar chorus. That all goes round 3 times, and then there's this extended outro to fade. The chords themselves are also quite straightforward. He has a couple of kind of custom James Taylor-y shapes for these which are worth having a look at. Let's sketch out the chords and the form, and then we'll take a look at the more refined picking details. Now the verse has 4 lines of lyrics, and there are 2 bars to each line, and it goes like this. We have 2 beats of A, just yesterday, to E minor, morning, to D and to A. They let me know you were gone. Okay, then another A, now an E, Suzanne, the plans they made, and now he's got G major 7, and he plays it this way. He's actually not using the 5th string, and if he were, I guess he could be muting that over the finger that's on the bottom string, but that's how he plays his G major 7. You could play it this way too, if you like, but that just takes out the 5th string and gives us a slightly brighter sound. So altogether, just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you. And that repeats. Walked out this morning and I rolled down their song. Just can't remember who to send it to. And then we're into the chorus. Now the chorus kicks off with a bar in which we have a different chord on each beat, and it's quite a handful. It's worth getting to grips with this, practice it until it's nice and smooth. We get a beat of D. Then the little finger comes down to the 4th fret of the 5th string for D over C sharp, leading to B minor 7. That's an A minor 7 shaped bar at the 2nd fret. And then we've got what's called D over E. That's just a D chord. We're also using the open bottom 2 strings. I've seen fire, I've seen rain, landing on a bar of A. And then we get all that, those 2 bars, another twice. I've seen sunny times that I thought would never end. Once more. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. And then we get a beat each of G and D over F sharp. But I always thought, now you could play D this way and then wrap your thumb round. But I always thought, or maybe you're just going to do that much. I'll probably just do that actually. But I always thought that I'll see you. And we end up on E sus4, which kind of looks like an A shape that's just displaced a string lower. But I always thought that I'd see you again. And now we land on A sus2, which is an A shape with the 2nd string open. And we get that for 2 bars. Okay, the whole of the chorus, 2, 3, 4. I've seen fire and I've seen rain, 2, 3. Seen sunny times that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. G, but I always thought that I'd see you again. That 2nd verse. That A sus2, by the way, that's how we finish the song. It just fades out on an extended kind of strummed A sus2. Now in a moment we'll look at the famous finger-picked intro and a couple of other picked details, but for now let's just look at a generic pattern that'll get us through the bulk of the song. And I'm going to start with a very basic Travis pattern. I've got my thumb on the 5th string for an A chord, for instance, which is where you'd expect it to be. And then my 2nd finger is going to play the 2nd string. Then my thumb's going to come up to the 4th string, and my 1st finger is going to follow that on the 3rd string. So in strings, it's 5, 2, 4, 3. Okay, it doesn't sound like much now, but if we start to accent, can you hear the first fingers accenting the third string to create on the 2 and, 1 and 2 and. More that kind of a thing. But of course he does lots of this kind of stuff, hammering on, particularly, and we'll see this in a moment, to the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. Okay. What you could also do, just to punctuate maybe the beginning of a phrase or a new chord, instead of just playing the straight pattern, let the first thumb note hang for a beat. So you should see these on the screen. This is the 2nd example. Either one of those is going to serve you well, but you know, don't forget, put in some pull-offs and hammer-ons and little runs and twiddly bits of your own. I don't think it's really worth trying to work out exactly what he's doing, and of course if he played this twice in a row, he'd probably play it a little bit differently too, so make it your own, but that's a good start. Now I've tabbed out the intro and I'll try and make it brief because this is going to be a little bit dull. Effectively, we've got this little shape on the top 3 strings at the 6th and 5th frets, which we then move down 2 frets, the 4th and 3rd. And it happens like this. We actually start with our finger, whatever finger you're using on the 3rd string. I'm using my 3rd finger on the 4th fret, sliding up to the 6th fret of the 3rd string. Then we get the top string, 2nd string, and 3rd string. And while all that's going on, you're going to pick the open 5th string. Okay? Then we've got a very similar thing, this time picking the bottom open string, and we're going to slide down from the 6th to the 4th on the 3rd string. And then we repeat the top string, 2nd string, 3rd string thing. So all together. Okay. Now right at the end of that bar, you'll see an open 4th string. That's part of the following D chord. That's just brought forward by a little bit. So and then we're into the 2nd bar. The 2nd bar is nominally this D chord to begin with, but with an open top string, which we then hammer on to the 2nd fret and off again. Then 2nd and 3rd strings of a D chord, maybe you're going to add the 4th string before an A chord. Okay? But when we get to the A chord, that's a sus2. We've got an open 2nd string, and then we're going to hammer on. I'm using my 2nd, 3rd and 4th fingers for the A chord. And then bringing that finger down as a hammer on onto the 2nd fret of the 2nd string to sound the A. Okay, nearly there. The 3rd beat, we've got an open 5th string up to the 3rd string and back to 2 quick notes on the 5th string. You don't have to play all this, but this is what he does. And the last thing, I'm going to bring my finger, my 3rd finger, up onto the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, down to the 2nd fret, and pull it off for an open 2nd string. I might pick that actually, down to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string to create that little scale passage. Okay, so that's needs practice. So in fact, the next thing that happens, I'm not showing that in the tab, but he gets back with a hammer-on an A chord from the open 2nd to the 2nd fret of the 2nd to begin the song. I should just say there's another couple of chords in here. As we've played the intro, to get us into the verse, we play this. A to E, and then our G major 7. And he picks that in such a way that we don't hear the top string for a while. There. Just yesterday morning, and then we're into the verse. Now, there's another picked detail that's really worth a look, and it's this. And he plays that in the verse and in the chorus, really whenever there's an A. So it's like this. Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Okay, you're going to have to hammer on fairly strongly. We play an A chord, just the 5th and 4th strings, and then the 2nd and 3rd. And as we do that, we hammer on. Back to the 5th, now back to the 2nd and 3rd, but with the 2nd string open again, 5th string, and then finally that hammer on again. So it's after the 2 beats of D. Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Okay, that happens whenever there's an A in the verse and also in the chorus. So we get, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny times that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I thought I could not find a friend. And I always thought, okay, so whenever we get an A, really, he's doing this. Okay, let's have a playthrough. 3, 4. Yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you. I walked out this morning and I wrote down their song. I just can't remember who to send it to. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. Sunny times that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought I'd see you again. Won't you look down upon me, Jesus? You gotta help me make a stand. Just gotta see me through another day. My body's aching and my time is at hand. I won't make it any other way. Oh, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. Seen sunny times that I thought would never end. Lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought I'd see you again. And that's it.